So you know what's funny? I don't know if anything we do right now is going to compare to the stuff that we were just talking about off air.
I know.
Like,
it's always like that.
We set high standards for ourselves right now with the stuff that no one will ever hear.
And then we go to talk and it's like, what are words?
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the
NeuroNerds.
Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
As a writer, that's like literally, I saw a meme. It was the best thing ever. And it was like, develop the best dialogue while in the shower. Dream about this perfect setting while driving to work. Imagine your character arcs and growth. You sit down in front of the computer and it is what are words.
I did that. I was so my next blog is going to be about my dog. For anybody who doesn't know, I have a service animal. I started having like these gnarly night terrors, like post-stroke, and my dog stops them from happening because she's a rock star. And so in my head, I have like this whole amazing, I'm going to start it like this, and it's going to be great. And I have all this stuff to say. And then I sat down in front of my computer and I'm like, I don't know how to start.
It's like, hi, ...
Yeah, exactly. I do what you do like in high school. She is very, 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 very good. Cool. That's like 10 words right there.
And just take all like the periods and change them to size 14. Margins, 1.5 inches.
It's just like half a paragraph, but it fills up the page. You got it, you know? That reminded me, there was an anime. I'm thinking
God. Junior high school.
So like, let's get back to Lauren's nerdum.
If my friend Jasmine is listening, or Jazzy, the anime, the character said, "Sore wa himitsu desu."
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't remember which character this is. It's an anime. It's like way back from the early 2000s.
Are you sure you don't remember? Because it's in a different language in anime.
Sore wa himitsu desu. I don't remember what anime this was, but it has something to do like.
Wait, is this a concussion? Don't remember or don't remember?
No,
because
it's like
so obscure.
Like straight up, this was. It's not obscure. It was a really popular anime.
Oh, okay. No, it's very obscure.
Not if you were in the anime world.
Cool. I'm not one of those 7 people.
What? If anyone's an anime fan, I apologize for the troglodyte that is sitting next to me.
Troglodyte? Oh my gosh.
I was watching Lost World the other night.
I've been called a lot of things. I think this is the first time I've ever been called a troglodyte.
Do you even know what it is?
I don't.
Okay, we'll have to get you a dictionary.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're gonna get into reverting.
Not that kind of reverting, but
fear of reverting.
Yeah, so today's episode is inspired by life experiences.
Yes.
And any survivor of any sort of brain injury and or trauma knows that not only is the fear of having a setback, stumbling backwards, or reverting to a less than desirable place is a legitimate fear and or reality.
Yeah.
Like it happens in recovery. Like it's not just, oh, I'm scared of falling back. It's like, no, it actually happens.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen. It's how you deal with that, you know? And when it first happened to me, I thought I was doing great. I thought I was, oh man, I'm on my way back.
When it first happened?
Yeah. It's been nonstop since. I just felt horrible. I was like, man, I've come so far and I've made so many strides to like get back to what I felt was like me, like old Joe. And every time like I had like a little bit of a hiccup, it was so defeating. And I was so afraid of just, oh, is that it? Am I reverting all the way back? Do I have to start over? Yeah. So it's really, really difficult to like stay positive and move forward when you feel like, is this just the new normal?
Right. Or you have that overwhelming cloud of fear kind of hanging in the back of your mind saying, how long is this going to last? Like, how long can you keep going in a forward trajectory before like, kabam!
Right.
Here's reality.
Right. So I'm not the most patient human being in the world.
No, you're not.
Gee, I wonder why I had such high blood pressure. That almost killed me. So I always want to move forward. Like ever since like post stroke, all I want to do is improve. I don't even want to tread water and stay still. of course I don't want to revert and fall back. Like all I want to do is constantly move forward. So when there's a little hiccup, it's devastating.
Yeah, because you don't want to doggy paddle. You just want to be sprinting away.
No. And speaking of doggy paddle, that's the only way I know how to swim.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Aww.
Somebody asked me, they're like, "Oh, do you swim well?" I was like, "Well, I can stay afloat." That's how I describe my swimming. I won't drown.
I was a competitive swimmer and I played on the boys' water
Is
polo
there
team.
anything that you can't do? You're a Renaissance woman.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
Yes.
You're a super nerd and a geek. It's crazy. You're an amazing dancer. You're an amazing teacher. You're an incredible writer.
Oh my God.
You're an ass kicker. And you swim.
Guys, I swear I don't pay him to say this.
All right. And make that check out too. Yeah.
Joe, your doggy paddle is so impressive. You look like Stella.
Oh, thank you so much. Even though my dog doesn't like going near water. we were up in Lake Arrowhead and she went in like kind of up to like her chest and she walked down. She's like, nope, not for me. I'll go hang out on the beach.
She's a self-aware dog.
So like reverting sucks. And I guess, so I go to therapy too. So that's new. That's awesome. And I really think everybody should go to therapy. I think even if you're mentally healthy, be mentally healthier.
Yeah. Mentally healthy, proactive, or, like be
yeah,
proactive
exactly.
about your mental health.
Exactly. Like, why not?
Everyone has issues.
So that's helped me, not beat myself up when
Too much.
things. Yeah, exactly. It still happens. I'm like, the albino in, the Tom Hanks movie with the Bible and Jesus.
What?
The Da Vinci Code.
Oh,
So,
that creepy like library demon thing.
yeah, who just so happens to be Vision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is it really?
It is. Paul Bettany. It's weird.
I was watching Legion the other day.
Oh, how amazing's Legion?
No,
Legion's amazing. Don't do that.
not the movie.
Oh.
I was watching the movie.
Oh, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, but Paul Bettany was pretty cool. I kind of liked his version of Michael.
That movie was awful. I love it.
Yeah, like it's a good movie to like not. It's like a bad movie to like.
I like. Was it the ice cream man? And she was like, oh, and that was crazy.
Yeah,
right?
but he was like such a worthless villain. Like he just came out for and then died.
Oh, do you want to know what I just realized? You know the pregnant chick in Legion that he was like protecting?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
That's Wonder Woman from the pilot TV show.
Oh, I was like, that's not Gal Gadot.
No, it's Adrienne Palicki, something like that. And she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You're right.
For anybody who watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I used to, I stopped the last 2 seasons.
I
just couldn't do it anymore. So she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she was Mockingbird.
Did I tell you my 1 degree of separation to Agent Coulson?
No. I don't know why my voice went up that way.
Do you know who his wife is?
Yeah. Wait. No?
Baby from Dirty Dancing. Jennifer Grey is his wife. I've danced.
Seriously?
Yeah. And I've danced with Jennifer Grey and talked to her.
What? Did you put Baby in a corner?
No, she sat next to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know who it was. I went up to her and I'm like, you look really familiar. Have you taken the class with this teacher or this teacher?
Oh, did you say you look super familiar? Did you have a nose job? Because she
No,
did. And
yeah,
she looked
no.
like a completely different person.
But like, I was like, what's your name? She goes, Jenny. And I was like, oh, I was like, you look so familiar. And so when she left, I went up to my teacher. I said, why do I know her? I was like, have I taken class with her before? And she's like, have you seen Dirty Dancing? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, that's Baby. I was like,
oh my God.
So that's my 1 degree of separation to Agent Coulson.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
I have so many 1 degree of separations. I love this.
I have 1 degree of separation from George Clooney's hand
And
on
your
my
ass.
butt.
Yeah. Anyways, in the spirit of reverting, because again, we all have that fear. And I think even people without brain injuries have a fear of some sort of falling back. But I think when you've had an injury to your actual brain, your noggin, what does everything in your body,
right?
It's almost like an existential crisis,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like if you can't move forward and you're just falling back, even though that's 100% normal in the recovery, because you can't have 100% positive moving forward. You have to have stumbling blocks. You have to have setbacks in order to progress and get stronger and get healthier and better. It's the hardest thing in the world to accept because recovery is non-linear. However, we are brought up or we have the impression that recovery, like success, is in an upward straight trajectory line, like on a graph, when really it is like the most complicated Wile E. Coyote roadrunner, like topsy-turvy mess, right?
Yeah, it's like a Rube Goldberg puzzle.
It's an Escher painting, David Bowie's gonna pop out of it at some point asking for a baby. Like, I'm like, sure, you can have the baby. But like, that's what reality is that setbacks are part of recovery. And if you're high strung to begin with, right? Like if you were high strung or had a lot of success issues, or you're just like, hey, I have these standards for myself. When you can't meet them, God, that makes it even more devastating.
Right. And I had low standards.
I was like, I didn't. I still.
You still have incredible standards. Like it's a problem. Why are we friends?
I'm doing community service, guys.
She's just slumming it every time she hangs out with me.
No, my therapist, she had to have me reframe everything because
how great is reframing though?
Oh, it is the most liberating thing. So I'm a writer, and I pride myself, and I this is not immodest to say this, but I'm very, very smart. I graduated, top of my class in college and in high school. I was literally number 5 in high school. Don't judge me. So I pride myself on being very articulate and knowing, quote unquote SAT words. I love, I was part of the IB program. So if you guys don't know, it's International Baccalaureate. It's like a higher version of AP, but it's a global level.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought it was teaching the language of Khal Drogo.
Of Dothraki?
Yes, that's what it kind of sounded like to me.
International Baccalaureate sounds like Dothraki.
Doesn't it?
All right, guys. No, it does not. All right. But, so where was I going with it? Oh, when we got the diplomas, we were given, if I haven't cemented my nerdiness.
No, you have.
Wait. This is going to get worse. I was gifted my very own Merriam-Webster dictionary, and it had my name on it, like a nameplate, like this property of Lauren Manzano.
That is...
Yes, I love my dictionary. It's like my own personal dictionary, but
don't have the words.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So one of the issues I have that still lingers, I even had the problem yesterday, is I can't think of words. So sometimes I will literally talk myself around the word, but I can't arrive to that specific word I'm looking for. Usually it comes about half hour, maybe a couple hours later, and I'm like, duh, that's the word I was looking for. But it's super frustrating in that moment where, I can speak all these other languages. That's the benefit, is they'll come up in another language, but then I have to try and figure out how to define that word back into English, right? Which doesn't help.
That's so crazy.
But so I used to get super down on myself. I used to get super frustrated. I used to blame myself and say I was stupid, right? Like, man, I can't think of the damn word. So what my therapist helped me do was reframe. She says, I have to accept that the new normal is I will not remember words, which is frustrating, right?
I feel that.
Right? But she says, if you recognize that as the new normal, when you don't remember the word, it's fine. It's just how it is. But when you remember a word, when that happens, that's a plus column. That's a success. That's a holy shit, I did it, right? Which it's very jarring, and it's kind of hard to accept because I'm like, yay, I remembered a word, right? But then when I'm able to...
Don't be condescending with yourself.
I know, exactly. So when I can remember that, wait, forgetting words is normal for me now. Not being able to think about it is normal. So when I'm like, oh, I'm searching for this, there's the word, then it's like, hell yeah, I remembered a goddamn word.
Right. No, and I think that's great. And if you think about it, like, how often do you just pat yourself on the back for remembering a word? You don't, right?
No, not
These
at
are
all.
just normal things. So why would you beat yourself up if you didn't remember a word? You know what I mean?
Because I'm a masochist.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you're Paul Bettany from the Da Vinci Code.
Oh my God. Self-flagellation.
Wait, he had that thing around the thigh, and like he would pull it and it was stabbing his leg?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really weird.
It's a version of self-flagellation. Yes, I believe that's how you say it.
Do you say he's a premature flagellator?
Oh, God. So this episode really was inspired by Joe because I received a text message late at night. Yes, I did. Or an Instagram post.
Oh, yeah, because you're the hardest person to get a hold of. Oh, my God. So
that's part of what I do to help keep myself sane is like if I get a text message, I don't have to respond to it right away. Like unless it's like, I'm dying, please pick me up. Like
I could have been dying.
You could have been dying.
I don't remember what I texted
exactly.
You,
so just trust me when I say it did not say I'm dying.
It did not seem like an emergency.
So this is inspired by Joe's having a very close possible fear of setback.
Oh yeah. I had a rough time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that woke me up. By the way, like I was up the rest of the night. I could not fall asleep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's how much I love you. I was half asleep, and I got myself up, searched Tumblr for 20 minutes, searching for this like positive like picture, and then talking him down, and then I couldn't sleep after.
I got to tell you, it was perfect. It was Winter Soldier, and he was meditating and he was flipping people off. It was awesome.
It says inner peace, motherfuckers.
And he's like flipping people off. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like no matter like who's trying to bring you down or what,
Mhm.
don't let them. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt that way. Yeah, I felt like I was falling backwards,
Mhm.
and I was in like I wasn't in. I was getting close to being in a darker place, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't shake it. And sometimes, you know, like going to therapy and learning to reframe things, I'm able to get past, and I'm able to say, okay, well, this isn't working, but look at all of this other beautiful stuff.
Mhm.
I wasn't able to do that, and I could not be more thankful for this Renaissance woman to the left of me. Well, you can't see it, but she's to the left of me
Yeah.
right now. And, you know, she spoke my language, and it was perfect, and it brought me back. It's really hard sometimes because like I feel like I'm doing so good. I feel like I'm just moving forward and I'm being the best version of myself, like even better than pre-stroke show. And when these little hiccups pop up, or when there's like this obstacle in the way, when it's something that I can't really overcome, it's very frustrating. And like it's hard not to just get sucked down into this negative vortex
Mhm.
of, oh, well, everything is terrible and the world is going to shit and I can't remember anything because I have a broken brain and everybody sucks. Like it's really, really difficult, you know? And
Mhm.
the air conditioner just kicked on
Oh,
and
okay.
scared the crap out of both of us.
The floor was vibrating.
I really wish you could see her face.
Oh my God.
Like it was shock and awe. And I was like, wait, is what I'm saying that impactful?
No, not at
Nope.
all.
Nope. It was literally physically jarring.
Well, so listening to what you're saying there, you're kind of holding yourself to an impossibly high standard. Being the best version of yourself, what pressure you're putting on yourself.
So I've been told that from my therapist.
Oh, wow. I'm so smart.
So,
I've been around the block.
so yeah, it's well, here's the thing. So pre-stroke, I didn't live well. I was very depressed. I didn't realize how depressed I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was damn near 35 pounds heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I ate like crap. I thought like crap. A success to me was I made it through another day. And yes, that's a very minimal
effort.
Yeah. Well, no, it took a lot of effort
to be that minimal.
Just so I didn't have like growing up the way that I grew up. I didn't really have like, oh, well, this is what I should strive for. This is like, there's amazing things that I can reach for. It was just kind of like, well, you made it through the day, so you won. So you
had those lowest standards.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my standards were just like survival. So like if you survived, you won. So now I'm like, oh, there's like things called living. Like I could really like truly live and thrive and excel and grow. This is amazing. So now all I want to do is that. So my only focus is just being the best version of myself and living my best life, you know, because I actually have a second chance at it. So
much pressure.
It's not though. Do you want to know why it's not? Because I lived 30 plus years of my life in this haze.
Right.
And I felt like I was just like a zombie. Oh, you know what I felt like? I felt like Hawkeye in the Avengers.
Oh, when he's being
right
by Loki,
where he's just like, oh, I'm just doing these things. I'm on automatic, and these are my friends, but I'm gonna try to kill. Like I'm stuck in this negative place. Like I don't have any control. Yeah. And he said it too when she like knocked him out. He's like, I just felt like I was in a haze.
Yeah.
So I felt like that for 30 plus years of my life, and as soon as he stopped being in that haze, the first thing he said is, yeah, let's go get him. You know, like his main focus was, all I want to do is, you know, make up for what I did when I was in the haze. Okay. So I was in a haze. All I want to do now is make up for all that red in my ledger. I didn't go around killing anybody.
I'm glad.
Well, only myself through my habits, through the way that I thought, through the way that I interacted with people, through the way that I ate. Like everything was like very, very self-destructive. Oh, but again, working with my therapist, I figured out what it was. I didn't have like a lot of joy. So I didn't realize again, like how depressed I really was.
Oh yeah.
So everything that I did was just for like little tiny patches of joy and happiness.
Yeah. For the short term, right?
Short term. So it's like, you know what makes me really, really happy? The McRib.
Oh, so you eat like shit.
So like I would eat like shit because it's like, it's packed full of like fat and
It
salt,
releases endorphins,
the endorphins, and like I just felt amazing for like 5 minutes.
Little rewards, right?
So that 5 minutes of pleasure before like the 90% of my day was just like
crap,
hellfire and fury. But like those 5 minutes of pleasure were awesome. That's why I was in like horrible relationships. Like I was in relationships with people that I should not have been in relationships with. But there was like certain moments in those relationships where it's just like, oh, so I dealt with all that horrible for like this moment of like joy and happiness, you know, whether it was, I won't get too deep in it, but like whether it was like, you know, a hug or a kiss or a handhold or like a beautiful moment that we shared, I can deal with like the weeks of just anger and frustration and bitterness for like that one moment of joy. And then, you know, now post-stroke, I'm like, I can have those moments every day. Every moment of the day should kind of be that way, or that's what I should be looking to have.
Like the majority of your day should be that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like nothing, look, life isn't perfect.
No.
Nothing out there is perfect.
No.
Nothing is, but on the flip side, nothing is so, it's not awful. You know, it's really, it depends on like what you focus on. You can focus on, man, you know, global warming and this orange idiot that's running this country on the ground and this little chubby dude who's going to like send out nuke. Like you can focus on all this horrible stuff, though you can't drink the water. You can't breathe the air. All those things are horrible. Do I the polar ice caps are melting?
All these huge.
It's going to be the day. It's going to be the day after tomorrow. Like,
oh my God,
for real.
every day.
But it's look, life is beautiful, man. Like it really, really is. And we can focus on those things, but it's a waste of time. It really is. Why not focus on how beautiful this world is? The amazing things that we can accomplish as individuals and even better as a people, like as a group. It's amazing. Like, you know, the friendships that we could like create, the relationships that we can cultivate, the successes that we can have as individuals and as a collective. Life is beautiful, and that's what I want to focus on. So I never did that before, but I'm doing it now, you know? And it's helping me on my journey through like growth and being the best version of myself, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So anytime there's like a little hiccup and I feel horrible, I'm like, no, I don't want to go back to that. And it's really, it's exhausting to like just get stuck in that negative vortex. Like I get so negative trying not to be negative.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Extra unneeded stress.
Yeah.
And it just makes it worse. And then everything piles on top of each other. And like you're saying, that negative vortex, then suddenly you wake up and you stub your toe.
Oh, exactly.
Right. And then your bank account might get overdrawn on accident because someone stole your PIN. And then because you know everything happens in threes, right? So then you're gonna go to your car and you're late to work already and you have no gas. Like literally it all starts to happen.
Yeah, I've seen it happen to other people and it's crazy to actually visually see it, you know.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That person's like really, really, really angry about something and then they'll get a phone call and be even angrier.
Yep.
And then they'll fall down and drop something and break something and then they're even angrier.
Yeah, there went their coffee.
Right.
Okay, I do love karma when it does that, when like someone's pissed on the phone, they're in line at a coffee shop, they're on their phone, they're yelling at someone on the phone, they're rude to the barista, right? I'm an ex-barista from a hipster third wave science coffee shop, right? Not Starbucks.
How do you make serving coffee nerdy?
Oh, it is so nerdy. There is a nerdiness to coffee. Don't even get me started. And then they get their coffee and it's almost satisfying and I feel guilty. I'm like, because I've seen it happen when they drop their goddamn coffee. It's like, yes.
It's karmic retribution.
Karmic retribution.
Yeah. So, well, anybody out there, if you're having a bad day, don't suck other people down into your bad day. I know misery loves company, but don't ruin other people's days.
Yeah, don't.
Because then it spirals and then we end up in war somehow.
Yeah.
From like somebody just having a bad phone call and dropping their coffee, and now we're in the Middle East. It's
the
crazy.
Butterfly effect.
It is. It's like the Marvel Universe. It's all connected.
So, wrapping this to nerdy stuff. So, we chose 2 characters from different fandoms, different realms of the nerd empire,
right?
Nerd universe, that are very similar, that struggle with the same feeling of either reverting to a previous form, evil form, a non-heroic form, or struggling with a temptation to fall into that dark side. No, we're not talking about Star Wars today. And I tried to keep as much Marvel out because we're talking so much Marvel. So I challenged.
Dude, I'm a Marvel fanboy.
I know. And I was trying to challenge Joe. I'm like, get obscure. And he did it.
I got super obscure. And she's like, who the heck is that?
I couldn't pull him out of Marvel completely.
Nope.
I will not be giving you Marvel, even though I would love to. We talked about Loki last time, so we're not going to talk about Loki.
We talk about Loki all the time.
I know. Okay, so who wants to go first?
So my first.
His obscure.
No, my non-obscure. My non-obscure. So like, I talk about like just feeling like you're reverting through like something personal or something like mental happens, and you just feel like you're falling back. So my first is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. So
Okay.
it was in Spider-Man 2 where like he lost his spider powers.
Okay.
He jumped off a building. He couldn't shoot like webs out of his wrist.
I like his like go spiderweb, go spiderweb,
exactly.
go.
So like everything was going crazy in his head, and he was just like, I can't be Spider-Man anymore because like
Mhm.
he was all in his head. If he would just take a step back, maybe meditate, things would have been fine. So that's kind of like how I feel. I feel like I have all these spider powers now.
You're Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I'd like to think that I'm Tom Holland Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire's age,
Okay.
we're about the same age. He's like 40
Now.
now. So back then,
Okay.
so back then we were the same age.
Oh, okay.
See?
You guys did not see the look I had on my face. It was like this look of consternation. I'm like, what? Anyways, continue.
So yeah, so like and if you remember what happened, he finally like it's like Stella got her groove back. Like Spider-Man got his groove back
True.
when he started like, focusing on like what really matters, It's saving people. It's
Mhm.
being the hero. It's taking on that great responsibility
Right.
and not letting it, drag you down. It helps bring him up. So he got his like spider powers back. So my obscure one.
We're okay. We're not switching. Fine, go.
Oh no! Go for you.
No,
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 you
no.
have you have a super obscure one.
That's not super obscure. So, Power Rangers. Who watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Go
Power Rangers. Oh my God, I love that show. I think that's like the first nerd crush I had was on Tommy the Green Ranger. Ugh, so beautiful.
Preach.
So, yes, and he was a real martial artist, like all of that. Anyways, so that's actually one of the characters I always think back on as someone who struggles with a past and reverting back was Tommy the Green Ranger.
That's perfect.
When he was first introduced, because he was not part of the original, Skittles of Power Rangers. He was brought in that season, and he was the Green Ranger, but he was controlled by Rita Repulsa, right? So he was a bad guy. If you haven't seen Power Rangers, I'm not giving you a fucking spoiler alert. All right?
Go watch
This is from the 90s. It's not my fault. Okay? And so he was a bad guy. And then he, tried to kill the Power Rangers. And I think he took Kim hostage at some point. And then the Red Ranger was trapped on the moon. Like, he was a bad guy.
He was.
He was a bad guy. And I think he was only supposed to be in that season. But then they continued him on as part of the Ranger team.
Oh,
right?
because he was a badass.
Oh, because he was a fan favorite. And then later on became the leader of the Power Rangers, then became the White Ranger. Then he was the Red Ranger. Then he was the Black Ranger.
And then he was an MMA fighter and got knocked unconscious. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. So anyways, Tommy Oliver, the character, struggled with reverting back in those first few seasons with Rita, right? Because he always had this fear of becoming evil again, of becoming controlled by Rita because he had that darkness in him.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay, go ahead.
He was the Winter Soldier.
He was not the Winter Soldier.
Think about it.
Yes, he could be the Winter Soldier. He could be. Okay, yes. He was controlled. He was brainwashed by magic. Okay, fine.
He had a metal arm. Oh, wait. No. Only Winter Soldier had a metal arm.
He had his little dagger.
He had the dagger ocarina thing?
Yeah. And he called up his dragon sword. Anyways, so that's one of my characters when I think back is someone who's struggling. And not only that, if you think about the time period, these are adolescents, teenagers in high school, they're playing. So they're not only struggling with this, movement towards adulthood, they're also going through this struggle with relationships and secret identities and
becoming an adult,
like all this that's coming up. And then Tommy on top of that is also having the external / internal conflict of reverting to being evil, right? So that's one of my characters. I'm like with the reverting, but then again he ends up defeating that becomes one of his character arcs. He becomes stronger for it and becomes a leader of the Power Rangers. Right. And also the Ranger who wore the most colors.
He was a Rainbow Ranger.
He was a Rainbow Ranger.
Which is awesome because like he almost used like him being evil as like motivation to be so much better.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. Yes. That's awesome. I kind of have like my obscure guy is Speedy Red Arrow. I was like, I don't know his nickname's Speedy.
Oh, God. Like I was thinking Speedy Gonzalez first. I was like, whoa, did we change?
I don't know. So back in the day, in the old school comics, Green Arrow had a sidekick, Speedy. And then I know, it was really weird. And he had like the
little Robin Hood?
The Robin Hood hat, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
Wait, I have seen that. Okay,
and I have seen the weird slip-on, like, cloth shoes.
Yeah,
I guess.
like they look like Hermes.
Yes, they
yes,
do
I
look
know
like
who this is. Okay, go ahead.
So Speedy was I guess like his sidekick, and then he was like Red Arrow's sidekick. So Red Arrow, it's like this whole weird story arc in Young Justice where he might be like a clone. He was taken over by the lights.
Okay.
And like he had like he technically died, right?
Okay.
And then he came back and like he was like brainwashed.
Why does this sound like one of the Robins?
It's a lot like that. So like he was brainwashed and did like a bunch of bad stuff. So then like he like got past that, but then he's always worrying that he's gonna go back to that, and it kind of ruined his life.
I feel like this is Jason Todd, but within a Robin Hood costume.
Yeah,
like literally, it's a Robin like in a Todd. Robin Hood.
It's like that's great. It's a lot like the Jason Todd thing, except he's not murdered by the Joker.
Right.
Okay. And then he doesn't come back as a Red Hood. He comes back as Red Arrow. Well, he actually
hey DC, stop being lazy.
Yeah, stop rehashing characters with different names and same arcs. So like he becomes like a good dude, but he's always worried about being bad. So like when he finally figures out, oh, I'm gonna be a good dude, he turned into the character Arsenal.
Okay.
Because Arsenal had like a fake Bucky Winter Soldier arm.
I'm trying to keep Marvel out, guys, but can't do it.
It can't stop, won't stop. We're like the Godfather. Just when we think we're out, we pull him back in. And so like he's an arsenal because he has like an arsenal of weapons in this arm.
Okay. But
he ends up like everything that he does is to kind of make up for him being evil and to find the people who actually like, I'm not going to go like get revenge on people.
Right. I would hope not.
But it's the fact that like he's so steadfast in being
his mission.
Yeah. In his mission of never going back and doing those things that he did and just moving forward. And anytime like he has like a little hiccup, like it's really, it's almost devastating, you know?
Yeah. Cause he's like, oh, am I going to become evil again?
Right. Do I have to go murder a bunch of people again? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I feel bad.
Damn. I like our consequences. Oh, we're just going to be depressed today.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I'm just going to stay in the room and not write.
Yeah.
And just pretend that everything is okay, as opposed to go out and murder people.
Yeah, that's a good goal to have.
Again.
Good perspective, y'all. Perspective.
Exactly. That's what life is. Life's all about perspective. So as like, you know, if we feel like things aren't going very well, look around.
There's the options.
And again, if you don't focus in on all this negative stuff, negativity breeds negativity. We could agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you stay positive, you stay like in a good place, amazing things happen.
Perfect segue to my other character that I was talking about, where negativity breeds negativity. Well, the negativity I'm bringing you is the One Ring, right?
There's nothing more negative than that.
Right? And what does the One Ring do? It corrupts, right? So the character I was trying to figure out, okay, what character gets tempted and is scared of reverting and falling under the spell of the ring? I was like, okay, Frodo, but Frodo does succumb. So I was like, I don't want to use Frodo. And then I was like, Boromir does as well, and he dies. So who's a great example is Aragorn, right? Aragorn was the last of the line of the kings, right? He was raised by Elrond in Rivendell, named Estelle. He was hidden there to keep any enemies from killing the last line of the kings from Numenor. And you're looking at me. Stop it. Stop it. So when he was told of his identity in his early adulthood, he was like fell in love with Arwen and told Elrond like he wanted to marry her, which is kind of weird because she was kind of a sister, but she grew up in Lothlorien, so whatever, or in Lorien, whatever. So it was revealed to him that he was Aragorn instead of Estelle, and that he was the next king of Gondor. He was the heir. And so he was given this mission, blah, blah, blah. Aragorn decided he went to the Rangers, right? And then decided to remain a ranger in one of the Dunedain instead of going to Gondor and saying, hi, everyone, I'm back, I'm alive, like, give me my kingdom, right? So Fellowship of the Ring comes, okay? And I'm going to stick mostly, I have my hand to his head telling him to shut up because he wants to laugh so much at how much I know. Stop.
This is so deep.
Anyways, so we're going to use the movie, Peter Jackson's movies, okay? So when he is there, he, feels that he needs to go be part of the Fellowship of the Ring, and he's sent off. You see the ring kind of tempt everyone, right? You see it immediately with Boromir. Oh, right?
Yeah. It immediately corrupted him
at the council,
so quickly.
Yeah, at the Council of Elrond, right? Because men are weak. That is Aragorn. Yes.
I resemble that comment.
Yes, you do. So Aragorn has grown up with the failure of Isildur, which is his
dad, right?
No. Isildur is his ancestor way back when.
Yeah, the one that like kept the ring. He's like, nope, I think I'm gonna hang on to this.
Because his father is the one who, wrangled all the armies. They made the pact and they the last alliance. So they went and confronted Sauron. Isildur picked up his father's sword and sliced the ring off of Sauron.
Right.
Aragorn took him, or not Aragorn, Elrond took Isildur into Mount Doom and said, as famously as we know, Hugo Weaving says it, cast it into the fire. And then Isildur says, no, destroy it. It doesn't happen. So that's when the weakness of men happened, is they were seduced by the ring of Isildur. So Aragorn grew up with this tale of what Isildur did, how the strength of men failed. Right. And he didn't want to be that. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. So during their journey, he's there trying to protect Frodo and protect the hobbits. And then we have the scene where Frodo is telling Aragorn he will give him the ring.
Right. He was like, I can't do it. I'm just this little tiny hobbit. Yeah. You're a big, strong man.
Yeah, this isn't Fellowship of the Ring, the first movie. And you have this beautiful scene. Peter Jackson did a great job where Aragorn is literally listening to these seductive tones of the One Ring. And he makes a decision not to take the ring from Frodo. He even tells Frodo he would have walked into the fires of Mount Doom with him to the end. Right. But he did not fall into temptation, and he sent Frodo off on his own because he knew if he stayed with Frodo, he could have been tempted to take the ring and fulfill his family's history of failing. So his fear the entire time. So one of Aragorn's character arcs is fear, and overcoming that fear of failure, of weakness, of temptation. And Arwen says in the movie something along the lines, you are Isildur's heir, not Isildur himself. Right. So she's trying to tell him, though their wrongs, their weaknesses, their issues are not yours. Right.
Yeah. You could be your own person.
Yeah. So what I love is he struggles with that the entire series, the entire books, the entire movies, to become a stronger character at the end as a king, accepting responsibility where he could fail, could succeed, in order to create a better world than there is.
Yeah, I just love how, Frodo's handing him the ring, and then it was such a powerful moment, and it took so much for him just to close,
deny it.
Yeah, to close Frodo's hand. He's like, no, you take this.
And we have to agree that a lot of that character magic came from Viggo Mortensen's acting.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen's amazing.
We talked about him last time, but Jesus, him. amazing. I'm
a fan.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Yeah, because Boromir, he turned in like Bitchamir. Oh, it's the worst. But
I also was like, it's Sean Bean. He has to die.
He does. But that might be my favorite scene in the movie where he realizes, when he kind of attacked Frodo, and then he starts crying a little bit, where he just felt horrible, and then he had maybe the greatest death.
Yes, I agree. The greatest redemptive death scene.
It was. It absolutely redeemed him, because he knew what he did was wrong.
Yes.
And he gave his life to help Frodo.
He's also a knight.
Kept giving.
Yeah, and he's also a knight, if you think about it. Part of the code of chivalry, usually coming from Arthurian legend, which is where a lot of their...
Yeah, that just happened.
Shut up. A lot of the characters, because Tolkien was writing Lord of the Rings as a history or a folklore of England, of Britain. And so you can see these acts of chivalry where he acted unchivalrous. He broke his code, right? By trying to harm a defenseless person or someone needing of help. He wasn't merciful. He wasn't kind.
No.
So what did he do? He went to try and save the hobbits, right? Merry and Pippin were being taken by the Uruk-hai. So he went out in a blaze of glory.
He really did.
And then not only did that happen, when Aragorn found him, he completely had a character growth there where he called him, I would my captain,
my king.
No, yeah, but there's something else. My brother, my captain, my king. Literally, he just acknowledged everything that Aragorn was, that he was denying fiercely before. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm almost misty-eyed. That was such a good man moment.
I know, I cried. It was beautiful.
So
on that note.
So on that strangely emotional nerd note,
There is redemptive arcs in all of us.
Anytime
we have that little bitty setback, because in reality, we're making such strides in recovery that these setbacks, we kind of need them to grow even further.
Right. How do you know something's amazing unless you deal with something that's not amazing? You
Yeah.
know, like it's the contrast. So,
Yeah.
and if you're feeling terrible, don't. If you're beating yourself up, don't. Because how often do you really celebrate how awesome you are? You know, maybe you should. If you're going to beat yourself up for not doing something that you think you should be doing, or kind of feeling like you revert, celebrate every amazing thing that you do, every step that you take forward.
Yeah. Don't wait for an Urukai to shoot you with like 5 arrows.
Yeah, don't do. Those are some thick arrows too.
Yeah, and like getting shot at point blank. Come on. And how many of us have an Aragorn and a Legolas just waiting on the wings? Like, really?
I don't know about you. I have like 5.
Man, I was gonna say this. There was a moment where I was like, because I'm knife trained. I was like, I want to learn those knives that Legolas had. I was like, I want those so bad.
Please don't stab me.
If anyone knows anywhere I can learn knife training like that, please let me know.
Please
go watch Lord of the Rings and see what I'm talking about.
Also, please don't stab me.
I won't.
I fear you without weapons.
I know.
I'm a grown man.
I know.
You're a tiny little woman.
I know.
So
on that note, please,
on that note,
please share your stories with us. Someone just sent me a story on Instagram, and I'm going to be responding to them. Ray, if you're listening, I'm going to be responding. We would love to hear your stories.
Absolutely. So we're getting the USO Rocks page going. We have a USO Rocks discussion group with survivors. We've got a couple of members so far on Facebook. You can follow me at Joso Rocks. I'll be posting your stories really, really soon. I have a bunch of beautiful stories from survivors. You know, this one dude Benjamin. I've got the Stromies.
Mm-hmm.
There's this girl Jamie. Like a bunch of amazing stories. Keep sending them in. You're inspiring me, and you're going to be inspiring others.
Make sure to follow us on at the NeuroNerds on everything. You can follow Joso Rocks on Instagram and Twitter. I am Lauren L. Manzano on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I don't check it. But you can follow me at TankBBG and try to figure out what that stands for. Again, we're going to have a contest because I don't think any of you will get it.
I'm going to get it.
All right.
It's going to be really obscure and probably dirty, but I'm going to get it.
It's not dirty.
So the NeuroNerds, we're here to help. We are.
We're always here to help.
Yeah. You know, we're building our community, and we definitely want to hear your stories, and we want to help you guys along just like you guys are helping us along. So the NeuroNerds are here to help.
NeuroNerds out. Yeah. That's good.